No matter where you come from and what you're doing, wanting more in life is the most important thing that helps you change and become better. Failure is considered failure to losers, but if you're a fighter, this word doesn't even exist. It's just that you learn more and you take that as a lesson and you keep going. You're a good person, you do good, you intend, which is most important, I think. You intend goodness and the karma, it finds you. I think the more we grow our branches, the more opportunity we have of taking part of all the growth that Dubai is going to be having in the near future and the region as a whole. Work on building yourself a better future or a better situation than the one you are actually in, and try to be happy with the good things you have in life.
Welcome to the Change Officer podcast. Today we'll be listening to an amazing story about American dream, but American dream in Dubai. Our guest carved his way up from humble beginnings. He's still humble, but doing an amazing job, and he owns one of the biggest media outlets in the region. Before we jump into the story, make sure to subscribe on YouTube or follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, or wherever you find us. We promise you a lot of inspiring stories from our guest, like this one. Thank you, Wissam, for being with us today in the Change Officer podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot of things to talk about, and this episode will be about a life journey, about a business journey, and about you, your personality. But let's start from the question we usually ask our guests first. That question is, for you, what is, when somebody tells you the change, what do you think about first?
I can see, like, when you ask me this question, the first thing that comes to my mind is the planet and how it's rotating. So we're in constant change all the time, and when you say change, that's what I can imagine, a blue planet and it's turning. So and I think I can also go deeper and think of the evolution of humankind and where we were and where we are today. And I think it's a constant thing that we keep going through. And it's not like we can do anything about it. It's a constant thing happening to us. What we can do is just adapt to it and live our lives with the best way we can.
What changes brought you where you are now?
So I think change, if we're looking at it from a personal point of view and how it starts with you, I think you need to be in a situation where you're not very happy with where you are. Either you're not very happy or you want more from what life has to offer. And that's when you will start seeking this change and start doing something about it. As long as you want more for yourself, you're constantly in the lookout for change or for new challenges or for new exciting things that would make you kick,
Yeah, and in general, when we discussed, you told me that maybe the first change, one of the first changes that happened in your life was that at some point in your school period, you were a rebel. You were a maverick. And you were always, challenging a status quo.
True.
But then something changed.
See, at some point, when you're always getting in trouble for the wrong reasons, obviously when you're a kid, you have your own way of thinking. You're creating your personality and you're building your personality. And if you see that this obviously keeps putting you in trouble and you end up at the detention center and your parents get called to the school once a week and so on, not for serious stuff, but just because you're different. And obviously some teachers, at the end of the day, they're all humans and there's a system that they need to abide by. So if you're different, sometimes it doesn't help them do their job to the best of their abilities. So that time, I think I started deciding, okay, I need to change my behavior. It doesn't necessarily mean that I change inside me, the way I am, the way I want to be, or the way I want to express myself. However, I would put this mask or something in school and try to, as much as possible, behave myself in a way that's normal, let's say, the way like everybody else is expected to be. So you kind of tone it down on the rebel side.
I think this is the good conclusion. You tone it down. You have it in yourself. It's still there, but you start thinking.
And actually, this is not only when you're a child, like thinking about it. Even today, you need to behave a bit in a way that's normal to others. No matter the fire that's burning inside you, you just try to be as okay as possible.
No, that's for sure. You know, like, and then from that rebel to a franchise owner of one of the most influential magazines, not only in the region but globally, Entrepreneur magazine. There were a lot of changes that brought you to where you are at now. You started small, let's say like that, yeah. You know, but
every time you start, you have to start. Obviously, you start at a certain place, and it's always the beginning. So the beginning is always like ground zero, and then you start building. I think obviously you carry your experience, you carry your knowledge, you carry the how to, you know, and then you start. It obviously takes a lot of energy to build something, but as long as you have a focus on the goal and you know where you want to go and you work towards that. And just one thing, because you said from rebel to entrepreneur, I'm still a rebel, and entrepreneur itself or entrepreneurs in general are these people who want to leave the status quo and become something. So I'm still that, and this is what attracted me the most to this brand. It's about the fact that we want more from life, and ourselves, my partner and I, we are entrepreneurs, and this is what basically clicks, if you want, with what we're doing. So we're practicing what we preach in our magazines and on our platforms, and I think this plays a very nice role with us. If we were a well-set, executives before starting Entrepreneur, I don't think we would have succeeded the way we are today, knowing that we were entrepreneurs ourselves and starting up a company.
So in a way, you didn't find a license found you. In your state.
Yesterday I was watching a movie and obviously Man in Black, the most recent one with Liam Neeson. So he kept saying like the universe has a funny way to find you at the right moment, at the right time, and I think this is what happened.
They call it abundance, like they call it abundance, and one of the things that you mentioned and that you told is be good and hope for good.
True,
be decent.
Absolutely. I think nothing, no one bad deserves the good, So or the good comes to them. It could come for a while, and then it will disappear.
Yeah.
And if you look at dictators through history or bad people, they all end up in a way or another not in the most happy situation.
Yeah.
And then so you're a good person, you do good, or you intend, which is most important, I think. You intend goodness and being nice and being kind in whatever you're doing. I think like the universe gives you back. The karma will be
finds you.
Yeah, it finds you.
One way or another. You were working on many positions in F&B, in sales, in media, and so on. And now you are the entrepreneur. What have you learned since 2014? January or Q3
when
2013, when you started BNC Publishing and when you started the franchise of Entrepreneur. What have you learned as an entrepreneur?
I'm going to tell you what I learned about different things. Like obviously in the operation, you learn the operation. Basically, you learn how to do things better. You learn how to cope with the cash flow. You learn how to build your own events from A to Z. You learn about writing. You learn about from your team, from the people you meet. You learn all the time. But one thing I learn also, it's how you constantly meet people who are living on different clouds, like in their head. Like for example, this guy comes to me and he's like, I'm a mentor and I would like to promote myself. I'm like, you cannot claim mentorship.
Yes.
It needs to come to you.
Yeah.
Like people need to come to you for advice, and and then you could become this mentor as per their opinions. But you cannot come to me and tell me I'm a mentor and I want to promote myself. And so there are many people who really, or those guys who like when we do sometimes the judging in some of the panels where we're judging startups or ideas, and these guys, I always remember them, like they wanted to do a map of Dubai, like to use on an app. Google is there. Are you going to beat Google? Like, what's the aim of you creating an app when you have Google Maps? And that's the thing. Like, don't come up with ideas that are so abundant in our daily life, and then expect to be this
disruption.
This disruptor who's going to change things. It's already there,
Yeah.
So these are the things you learn. You learn how people are. You learn what they're made of. You learn what you're made of, and you constantly evolve. I think as an individual, or as a leader, or as a part of an ecosystem, and so on and so forth.
This is one of the biggest reasons we have this podcast, to meet different successful people, not to inspire us, but also to show us, as you know, entrepreneurship is a lonely game. And you always think that, these things are happening only to me, and then you realize when you meet people that...
Absolutely. Many people go through the same curves, if you want, in terms of building themselves and reaching. And it's not fun when you don't reach,
Yeah.
There are many people who don't reach. I'm not saying I reached. I'm still aiming to my goals, but some people, they just fail. And one thing I read or heard, like failure is considered failure to losers, but if you're a fighter, this word doesn't even exist. It's just that you learn more, and you take that as a lesson and you keep going. But yeah, it's sometimes tough. Like some of the people we hear, and it annoys me, but this is how it is. Keep the rebel sleeping. So one of the things that annoy me is, like, you see this guy who's say a CEO of a huge company, and he talks about the failure and stuff like that. That you, in your position with the wealth of your family and who you are, you can afford to fail, and restart.
Yeah.
But some people who, let's say,
walking on the edge.
If you have $100 today in your pocket and you invest it all into a company, and you don't have anything else, and you fail, it's not that easy. And learning from failure. So talking is also some of the things you learn, like that, not to do. And unfortunately, there are many people who talk like that. There are many people who are nobodies that I see on social media that give you empowerment messages, like when they have not achieved a single thing. A friend of mine is like that, and I keep giving him on his head, telling him, stop doing this. Like, I know who you are, and why you want to portray yourself to be this successsul
put your action
innovator.
In your mouth. Put your action in your mouth is there. But I'm sure,
but they're probably all seeking change. But you just, at some age, when you reach an age, you're just tired of the pull, and you want people to just be real. But that's how life is. And
in Entrepreneur Magazine, you featured a lot of inspiring people and people entrepreneurs in general, and not entrepreneurs, all kind of thought leaders, industry experts. Is there someone that left some impression on you, or something that you are following, or that you learned and that you
honestly speaking, everyone in a way or another keeps something in me that I learned from, like no matter how good or how bad they are. Without me knowing what I grabbed, but I always grab something from things I see, and obviously I think that's how the whole human nature is. You learn from everything around you. One person that I will not name, just to not to promote, over promote them or sound like they paid me to say this.
Okay.
A guy I really like and I appreciate, who came here and like he had 500 dirhams in his pocket about 20 years ago, and then he found a job, and then from that job he started his own company, and then today he's a very successful individual. And I read, because we featured them in the magazine obviously, so I read the whole thing that we wrote, and his story is phenomenal. Like, it's another successful Dubai journey where you come with little and then you build something. We all go through that, the rich, they don't leave their home to go to a country to work and build something, right?
Give everything they have.
Yeah. So people like us who want to start and want to grow and want to become in a better financial situation than they were in, you seek new opportunities and you travel for more and for better. So yes, there are many people who come here with money. Could be borrowed money, could be their own money.
Yeah.
But many people come here, in the hopes for a better life. And better life means financial stability, means socio-political stability, security, and so on. And obviously we have all these in Dubai and in the UAE. So many people who manage to succeed, these are icons that you should celebrate, and that's what we try to do. So whether people succeed, we write about them, and people who try, really, we write about them. Not everyone we covered so far in our magazine is a hero, and they're on the way maybe. And yeah, so I learn from everyone I see, and I learn from everyone I read about. But this person really sticks to my mind.
Let me tell you a story about one person. He was a dishwasher, then he was assistant F&B manager, then he was a sales person in media, then he started his company, which is successful, even 6 years or 7 years on a market. And that person, it's inspiring. As you said, you didn't reach whatever. If there is anything to be reached, you didn't reach, as you said.
Let me just correct one thing. I didn't start as a dishwasher. Not that there's anything wrong with dishwasher, no, but I don't want your listeners to think I'm devaluating so I shine more. No, I had a normal life and everything was fine, but at one point in one of the areas of my life, I had to leave Lebanon, and immediately, because of some political rebelling, let's say. So at the time when I left, the only job I managed to find after looking for, and obviously I didn't have money, I was between things, so the only job I found was dishwashing. That also included stuffing the chicken with the metal bar that makes it roll. So this was obviously also part of the thing I was doing. But then obviously I didn't want to settle for this, and and I wanted more, and then the owner of the restaurant saw me, and then he took notice, and then eventually within a few months I was the assistant restaurant manager, and I continued and so on. But thank you for mentioning it. So we all, like, you even no matter where you come from and what you're doing, I think wanting more in life is the most important thing that helps you change and become better. And I learned this from home. My father, he God bless his soul, he at the age of 13, his father got sick and his elder brother was studying. So he didn't want to affect that. He went and took a job to help support his family. At the age of 13, he was wood crafting at night and studying during the day. A few years later, he kept doing this. A few years later, he ended up buying the store where he was doing this woodwork. And then a few years later, he built his own factory, and he gave us a life that we're very grateful for. And I really think it's all about how you're raised and how much your parents put effort into wanting you to be a perfect child. No matter how crazy you are growing up, no matter the drama you cause your parents, it's their effort to always hoping and trying and enforcing, bringing you up in the best way you could be. I think this is what you take forward with you in your life, and you will teach to your children eventually. And I think that's the most important key to developing a personality of someone who wants to be a fighter, who wants to get more in life, and who wants to reach better places than where he always actually is.
That's the thing you said, to reach their potential.
Absolutely.
And this is, I asked you, why, the main question, why you are doing all of this that you are doing, that's the...
Why not?
this is what you told me, that's...
yeah, like if you're happy, you're happy,
happy and fulfilled.
Absolutely. And I think like I'm a happy individual in nature. Like inside me, I'm happy. I'm content from life, from God, from people. I'm okay,
Yeah.
But I want more, to do more, And I always, when I'm praying, and when I speak to God once a day, I tell him like give me more, and at the same time remind me to remember the others. And we were talking about karma and things, and I'm like that, and I think this is what makes me a happy human being. I want well-being of everyone, and I think that's why my conscience is clear, and I'm happy. I'm satisfied. It's just about wanting more because you want to do more. You have plans for things. You have plans for I don't know, your family. You want to do some for your family, so you think, okay, I need this, so I work hard to get it. You're thinking of a project you want to build or something you want to do, so you fight for it and you want for it, and this is what pushes you to really go even further into trying and trying to reach, like you said.
And the things around are changing all the time. Like in 2014, when you started Entrepreneur Magazine Middle East, the paper was strong, still strong. And 6 years later, we are living in a fully different, as evolved society, evolved, technically evolved world.
in an interview 6 years ago, I was asked about the print and digital. Is print dying? And I said, listen, people doing it right, they will be there 5 years later. That was 6 years ago. And people who don't, they won't last. So from day one, we didn't really focus on print or digital, or it's not like we sell ads and that's it in our business. So it's how you build your proposals to clients. And when people say print is dead, I don't think in our region, because we're smaller countries, this applies massively. Because, for example, like in the United States, it's countries like that print, I don't know, 50 million copies of a newspaper, and they depend on selling this newspaper in paper, that were affected by this shift in print and digital. Over here, we like, it's a small country, right? And there's you target a certain audience. You don't target everyone, especially in magazines. So whether you go to them in print or digital, those people are getting what they want. And we never really depended on the point of sales, like the copies that are bought. You depend on advertisers, you depend on sponsors, you depend on clients who want to, build a certain PR persona, or etc. So I wouldn't say we were very affected. We get affected by clients' budgets. It's not everybody, like from my F&B experience in life, I always told my staff, like people come to your restaurant, they have a wallet in their pocket. It's up to you how much money you want to take from this wallet, and it's up to you what you sell them. If you just accept what he's coming to eat, he will eat one dish and he will leave. But if you suggest more items, a drink, or a dessert, or coffee, etc., you're going to take more of his wallet. And that's the thing. Everybody has budgets. It really depends on your offerings. If you're giving them something
what you can offer,
they believe in, and they know they will benefit from being with you, they are going to give you this budget. So it's all up to you on how you build your product to get what the client is looking for.
Yeah, to give them value. And when you give them value, when you solve some real life business problem to them, then you will offer. So how your offering has changed in these 6 or 7 years, in what direction?
See, you come up with more products. You come up with things. Obviously, like just to elaborate on what we were saying, like digital that came,
Yeah.
It didn't affect us in a negative way. It affected us in a positive way, because it helps you reach more people. Like, for example, social media. We use social media to reach more readers than we usually reach. So it's not a bad thing to have this digital influence and this change from print to digital. On the opposite, you reach more people. And if you have something decent for people to read, they will be your loyal readers, and they will be your loyal followers. And obviously I think it played good for us, the digital part of the media.
Yeah.
And like, sorry, to answer your question, like, we come up with more products. We do more events, in-person events, where people come and engage with each other and socialize. And obviously during COVID, those events took a setback, but they're back, and Dubai is open now, and events are back in business, and people want to meet each other, and they want to talk, and they want to close deals face to face. So as long as you cater for these people something that they're gonna enjoy, they will come.
For sure, but the question about the events, I visited few of your events, and really, as you said, people networking, people talking, being inspired. I remember I heard on your event, it was in Palm, I don't know where, but it was the guy who co-founded Karim, how they started, and just a digression, you know, like they started by having only a front end and then calling people, taxi drivers on the phone.
Absolutely.
Mohammed, can you drive? Khalid, can you come? You know, and then allowing people. So it was really left a mark on me. You know, like and really these events that you do, and you helped Sharjah government bring Gary Vaynerchuk to Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival.
We do these events because we also are thirsty to, you know, eager to meet people as well.
This is why I do this podcast, man. This is why I do this podcast. So interesting stories, you know.
So absolutely, like we build our events in a way, and I think what makes them special to us as entrepreneur, as BNC, is the fact that we do them from A to Z. So the editorial team works on building the agenda and calling these people and bringing them. And from our side, myself and my partner, we're there at midnight, making sure the sound check is done. We make sure that the speakers are working properly, the seating arrangements are proper. And this is, I think, for me personally, is very exciting. And when you put your effort into something, if you're doing it right, it's only going to return in good things to you. Be it money, be it happiness, be it sponsorships, be it connections, and it's all a cycle of continuous, you know, joy in doing what you like.
As you are a franchisor, a franchisee, is it franchisee of Entrepreneur Magazine? Did you get that, like some book that you follow? How do events that is good for this and that, and do it in this way? You're laughing.
So there's no rule, like there's no book.
Of course.
There's no guide to being I'm not calling myself a superhero, but there's no guide to being a superhero. You know, either you're born a hero, or you're not a hero. So
there is no book for that.
No, you cannot learn it. And I think of this obviously when we're hiring people or when we're looking for the right talents to work with us. There's so much you can expect from someone, you know. But there's also the other ones, the stars. These stars are unique, and they're unique. And when I say unique, I mean they're rare gems. So you do your best with what you have, but you also keep seeking and looking for the superstars on your team. And the thing about these is that you cannot teach anyone to be excellent. People are people. You know, there's 7 billion people. How many names do you remember? Yeah. You know what I mean? How many of them shine? So you cannot teach someone to be good at what they do. They need to have it in them, I think. And there's the others where you teach them the minimal so they can cope and adapt and do the things. But yeah, I think... what was the question again?
No, there were a lot of questions, but as I said, you know, like when you have the system, and you mentioned operations earlier, you know, like when you have the system and processes in place, this is as low as you go. But on the other side, the high you go is with these superheroes that you bring to your team.
Absolutely.
And I think that you said one thing which is amazing at this moment, and that is, for me personally, is you always seek for superheroes.
True.
You don't stop seeking superheroes.
And you see this in every industry, not just, you know, in what we're doing or in media. You see this in a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, there are 20 waiters in a restaurant, but only one is really shining, you know. And this is the guy who's going to become a supervisor, and this is the guy who's going to become a manager, and this is the guy who's going to become a director, etc., etc. Why? It's not because, he's working harder. No, but he wants more, and wanting more and being born with something is, or let's say, because you're born with something, you want more, and this is the guy who's gonna come out from the herd and become something else and shine.
Be a superhero and shine. So, what is the future like for Entrepreneur Magazine, for media industry, and what is the future for you?
See, we live in a country that recently released 2040 plans. And goals. So the country makes you look forward and challenge yourself and put even more challenging goals ahead of you. And like the country we live in, we also, take from it and learn and want to develop ourselves as well. So obviously growth, I would say, is the most important element in a continuously changing industry, media. So I think the more we grow our branches, the more opportunity we have of taking part of all the growth that Dubai is going to be having in the near future, and the region as a whole. So we're going to be developing more products. We're going to be doing podcasts. No, I'm kidding. I'll always come to you for podcasts. So
please do.
We're developing new products, new events. We're tapping on new markets. It's a constant thing, and obviously because of the competition, I'd rather keep it quiet until it happens. And the strong will and the wanting better all the time that drives you.
I would really like to finalize this podcast with these strong words and inspiration, because this is why we are doing it. Absolutely. To hear a story, to see that we are not alone, that there are people who want more, and there are people who are getting more and will be getting more in the future.
And I want to close from my side by saying...
No, I won't say anything. So you close it and I won't say anything.
Okay.
So keep it, like...
To your readers, special message.
You can even look at the camera and then just cut me off the shots,
Okay. Just be happy and try. Obviously, sometimes some people suffer. To give you an example, some people are like, I haven't been sick for a while, and I haven't had any issues for a while, and some people believe that when this is the case, it means that kind of God doesn't really care about them, so He's not even present in their life. So it's part of us being human beings to struggle and suffer. Whatever you're going through, always know that there is a higher power taking care of you and has a plan for you, and be happy or content in what you're doing and where you're going, and thank God for what you are in, because there are many people who are in a much worse situation, and work on building yourself a better future or a better situation than the one you are actually in, and try to be happy with the good things you have in life. So many people don't have anything, and they are happy. Be happy and seek more if you are capable, and believe in yourself and believe in the people around you. And thank you very much. I appreciate it.